as they used to say in the old Second Life plays, yeehaw!
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Yeah, yeah, yeehaw was the one I
The,
seem to
the
believe.
Cowboys. Yeehaw!
Yeah, yeah. So it tells you something about Second Life when all the everybody goes around saying yeehaw, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
They're all horses. Or at least their voices have gone hoarse. Ha ha. Never mind.
Ah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. Good.
Yeah. Oh yes. Miss it. You listen quick or you miss it. Yeah, indeed. Right. Okay, folks. Well, my name is Mal Burns, and welcome once again to Metaworld News. This week it's the news headlines for the week ending 26th of September, which is also the day we're recording this. Although I know many of you, it's a Sunday, so I know many of you don't get round to watching it till the working week, so to speak. Um, and yeah, all that is all that. So, um, my name, as I said, is Mal Burns. First name Mal, second word Burns. And you're going to have to squash me, I'm afraid. I don't like being squashed, but I'm resigned to the inevitable, I'm afraid. If you want to check me out on Twitter, you have to go to twitter.com/Malburns, Malburns, or one word. And you can also check out this auxiliary feed for this show, which is twitter.com/Metaworld News. Again, two words squashed into one. Terrible habit that is. Okay, okay. So I'm joined here. You see this bloke sitting on the seat next to me. It is none other than James Out Loud. Welcome, James.
Oh, well, thank you, Mel. Here we are
Now,
again, huh?
yeah, here we are again. And today I see you've got a rather subdued costume on.
Yeah,
Although
yeah.
very stylish and elegant, but subdued. Not loud, as in out loud
Not as
today.
loud, no. Well, I go shopping before the show, and this I found. It's a free outfit, and this came from a store called Timey Master Store. That's a creator I've not seen before, so that's kind of fun. But this is I think the imprint on here has to do with the motorcycle club, and so it's
Ah,
the VR Angels. So MC
oh.
MC is for motorcycle club. So
Yes, indeed.
so I
Yes,
got I
it's
got my motorcycle suit on today. Vroom vroom.
it's an odd. It's odd. Yeah, go for the brooms. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's odd though. It's apart from I'm spinning around, but I'm going to get into a mess. I better concentrate on the show. Um, yeah. It's for motorcycle club. It's odd. It's not leathers. It doesn't
Right.
look like that.
Yeah, it looks
It's
like
just
a velour or
yeah.
crushed
Well,
velvet or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
a gymnasium or a sports costume rather than
Right. Right.
a leather motorcycle job. But who knows? Maybe. Maybe it's flexible metal or something that the bikers have discovered we don't know about yet.
Right. Right.
Like the stuff that Marvel superhero costumes are made of these
Right.
days. I've never actually touched it, but I mean, it's like metal but flexible. So go figure.
Yep.
And, the stuff they invent, really. But anyway, it is the end of Marvel in the news this week.
That's right. That's right. I read
I
that.
published it on Facebook. I mean, I remember when I was working in comics and stuff in the 1970s, I guess. Um, there was a big fight to get creators' rights from Marvel, and they introduced a new system called work for hire, and or basically they started paying royalties, so it's worthwhile for writers and artists to actually create, higher quality work and sometimes copyright work of their own,
Yeah.
which they invariably had to license to Marvel, and they couldn't do much else with it themselves. But at least they had their names acknowledged, and received some form of residuals and royalties.
Yeah.
Now, sort of 50 years later, Marvel have decided they want to, they want their creators to be slaves again, slaves for the cash check, and all the proceeds thereafter go to the coffers of Marvel, which of course
Mm,
is now
mm.
which is now Disney, of course. And we all know what Disney are like. I mean, Walt Disney employs slave labor to do his original cartoons, so don't think much has changed on that front. So forget Marvel and forget Disney. And thank God God for Apple TV because I watch Foundation, and that is
Ah.
marvelous.
Oh, it is.
First,
Okay.
two- the first two episodes are great. Actually, today I did see a poor review of it, which I was a bit disappointing. But I'm
Here, you're stepped away from the microphone.
Yes, I've deliberately stepped up. Here we are. I forgot to bring something and have it beside me.
Ah,
But it
okay.
was good enough that I thought, I mean, it can't possibly follow the entire epic of the books. But I actually realised I have my bedside here. And my bookmark's only on the halfway point. Shows you how often I read paperbacks in bed.
Yeah.
But it's actually David Brin's novel, Foundation's Triumph.
Okay.
Red Bear, Gregory Benford, and David Brin did another trilogy. And reading through this and the synopsis at the back, I think this one happens a bit before the formation of the first Foundation. But it's an epic thing. I mean, if anybody's read Asimov, you got to remember the first Foundation book was probably already written in the year I was born. You know, this is a long way, but it still stands up. The only difference is that all the principal characters in the early books were male, and obviously the TV version now has changed a lot of characters to be female.
Sure, of course.
To
Yeah.
balance it out. But it's actually quite interesting because I've got in Foundation's Triumph here. There's a lot of mentions of it, but there's a whole bit in the Foundation. Well, it's no longer a trilogy. It's a second trilogy. Stories and the iRobot series all ties in with the same world, so to speak. Yeah, future histories wise. But there is a point where I think it's the first Foundation, or it may be the Empire that they are struggling to succeed. But there's because it's got such a grand scope, you really have to search for the backstory. But there's a point where the whole galaxy outlaws simulations.
Ah, right.
Because simulations have been coming. I guess they're too problematic for the Empire to rule. So they're out. You're back to reality. It may be out of space and thousands of light years from here to there, but you're not. But simulations are actually outlawed. I forget all the exact reasons, but my immediate thought was, I wonder if the compacted TV series is actually going to involve any, simulations. Because there's a period in the story where they're legal, and also presumably I imagine in the story where they're illegal, they're still used. If you see what I mean.
Right. Right.
So there's a lot. I know in one of the earlier, later novels, there's a lot of confusion over whether the events you're hearing about happened in simulations or whether they happened in the real world, so to speak. So there's a little bit of connection to our scene, as it were, with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I first enjoyed the first two episodes. They're streaming on Apple TV worldwide, as far as I know. So if you've got your Apple TV, check it out. And I think you can check it out other places too, of course. But I'll leave you to do that.
I don't know. Well, oh yeah, illegal places. All right.
Oh, grey area, grey spaces.
Yeah, are those gray spaces part of the metaverse? Well, I use the word.
Well,
I'm sorry.
You can log in. You can log into Second Life or Samsung and go to the movie club, and some kind person will be streaming it.
Sure, right.
You can watch it in world, even though you can't watch it out of world.
Right.
Which makes you wonder, how do they do that? Anyway.
How do we do it?
How do we do it for that matter? Yeah. I should start doing that. I should start illegally streaming relays and stuff.
I'm glad it's your channel and not mine.
Well, yeah, I'd do it somewhere else for sure.
Uh-huh.
No, technology is easy enough. You just got to find the right stream to relay and stuff.
Right.
I don't trust. Actually, I don't trust these what do we call them? Virtual VLNs that people advertise. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're hiding your IP address by using an IP address in the country you want to view. But to do that, the IP address, the VPN itself, can obviously monitor everything you're doing. So they may be hiding your real IP address, but at their end, they're gathering data because you, for a period of time, appear to be at their IP, at the VPN's IP address, if you see what I mean. So I'm not having any of that. But
What's
that's
the
just me.
phrase? Pick your poison.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, a lot of people think VPN. Oh, nobody can see my IP address.
Right, right.
I can view all this stuff from foreign countries that's banned in my country, or I can't get into my country. But in fact, it may be true that it can't be, spied on in your own country, but you can certainly be spied on in the country where better, as it were, in the country where the VPN is connecting to. So anyway, that's my. I'm rabbit holing before we started the
Before
show.
we even
Anyway,
start,
I
wow.
yes, I have introduced James along with his emblematic jacket.
Yep.
But more to the point, I haven't explained, although you probably know already, that he's fiddling with knobs. Yeah. What's he doing under the table there, I wonder?
Legal.
Actually,
It's all legal. It's all above
he's,
board.
he's twiddling the knobs
Mm.
because he's projecting into this show my desktop and several different views of my avatar, all the video wizardry and the audio wizardry with which we managed to bring this to you. All on our twosome lonesome
Hmm.
with no staff of 100.
Right.
So there we go. So thanks as always to James for that. And we might as well get on with the show.
Yeah.
Now, talking of screen shares, I assume James is ready to switch to one I've got on my desktop at the moment, which is the same link that we always have at the start of every show. It is, of course, the Scarred Ghost. SKARREDGHOST.com. And we got a sound effect for that, I think. Oh yeah, now I'm trying to find it. That's part.
There he is.
My address bar has gone walking, but I've got it back now. Yeah. So yeah, every Monday or Tuesday at least, Anthony publishes this week peak, and it's actually a look back on the week before that, if you see what I mean. So whereas we're looking back on the previous 7 days here, he posted last Monday with a look back on the previous 7 days then. So really, if you read this, you're going back about 2 weeks, some of which we may have covered last week on this show, some of which is his own kind of stuff. But it's always a good way to start the week. And even though it won't be this one, if you go to Skull Ghost tomorrow, or at least Tuesday, you'll have another week peak, which will be currently up to date, as and when it's posted. Ooh, what's it? Oculus Quest 2. What on earth is an eye relief knob? You know about knobs, James. Do you know?
Something.
Have you got an eye relief knob? Yes.
I don't. I'm lacking. No.
Facial expression tracking. Okay. There is some news that I've included on Oculus. Well, we'll come to it. Not in the near future. Anyway, skullghost.com is the place to go for that roundup each and every week, including now. So I'm going to put that away and move on to the regular stuff, as it were. And these links really are starting at the ones that arrived on Monday, moving through to kind of yesterday, more or less. Rec Room, which is a rather fancy sort of virtual world. It's been around longer than COVID, which is saying something. It predates the sort of decimation of the word metaverse. And yeah, it's or whatever. GamesBeat actually did an interview with their CEO Nick Fadgett. And he was one of the ones who's emphasising that what they're doing is aiming at a cross-platform metaverse. Now, I mean, a lot of people are saying this now. Whether they intend to do it, I don't know. But I mean, they've got a bit of a head start here, really. It's well, yeah. They've got $1.25 billion US valuation, so that's not bad. They're sort of considered to, along with Roblox and what's the other one? I can't remember. They're considered to be up front there, but they I don't know, is it 3 or 4 years they've been around at least. and you have to. They're not bad. The graphics and everything else are reasonably fine. If you're used to other worlds, it's a bit they're not quite the same, but they're damn sight better than others. So you takes your pick, so to speak. Anyway, long interview here. Interesting if you're interested in Met Room or just the thinking of people who want to build a interconnected metaverse, so to speak. So you'll find this at venturebeat.com, which is venturebeat.com. Moving on from that one, we're going to a site called spatialreality.io. So spatialreality.io. And this is again a conversation with somebody called Carlos Velanquez, however, at an organization called Every Point. Talking about infinite practical uses of spatial computing and one big problem. So it goes into quite an area here. When you see references to XR or indeed spatial computing, these tend to be very interesting because they tend to be talking about the greater picture over and beyond virtual worlds or VR, even AR, and sort of things that are coming up. More rumors this week, which I never post rumors, but they actually seem to have set a date next year for Apple's supposed headset, and a date the next year after that for the Apple glasses. So clearly, if that's true, I'm surprised that Apple will want to go into helmet territory when they're working on glasses, but who knows? And here, you've got laser scanning, 3D printing, and all this sort of stuff too, and it sort of all comes together as the end product of all these things are sort of ultimately part of what will end up being some kind of metaverse, to use the M word again, I suppose. Anyway, he talks about his background and getting started with the Commodore 64. God, those were the days. And
I
education,
remember.
etc. And um, uh, taking, mapping out 3D measurements, even on an iPhone. And you got to realise that when you're doing that kind of sort of heavy lifting, you can take the mesh of something like that and you can import it into a virtual world, and it becomes part of your landscape. For real. It all sort of connects together with these technologies now. But as you can see, a lot of reading in that little conversation. So you'll find this at Spatial Realityio, and I'll repeat that: SPATIALREALIT. Sorry, ALITY.o. You'll find the direct link to the page, and indeed the page, all these other pages I'm bringing up, by going to my twitter.com/malbones, and when you follow the links from there, you land on the exact page you want rather than a website's homepage. So a little plus point for doing it by Twitter if you want. Right, let's put that one away and move on down. This is a site I've never... I don't know what this means. The dailynews.com. Now, DAILYNOUS. Now, the NOUS sounds French, but I mean, it's not. I don't know what the Daily News is meant to be.
Right.
Anyway, it's a philosophy and extended reality technologies.
The
He's talking
daily
about here.
us or the daily we, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think it's French.
You
I
don't?
don't think it's
Okay.
French at all.
Okay.
No, I think maybe they're meant to be the Hangman's News, but they left out an O or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But
Okay. Funny.
it
Funny.
doesn't seem to be anything to do with French. This post is about the Virginia Philosophy Reality Lab, anyway, an interdisciplinary coalition of educators and researchers at the Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia. Something else is in Virginia, isn't it? But being in Britain, I can't remember what it is. Something big. Right. Okay. Well, anyway, it's talking about this. Um, I love philosophy discussions and things like that. So this is, I queued on this one when I saw it. There's not much here, but there are links here. To help improve decision making, modeling, diverse applications, and self-driving cars, robotics, AI networks, etc., etc. And you can get more details from a link there, or you can actually try out one of the simulators on the other link there. So a short post this, but it does have two or three interesting links on it. So as I said, that's at goawaypopup.com. No, sorry, DAILYNOUS.com. We're going to pack that one away too. Heading on down the list here. We're getting a long way quick here today. No, not a bad sign. Right, here we go. We're at a site called Information Age. I don't know, it might be a British site. I used to actually get the print version of this magazine mailed to me every month, I guess it was. Um, don't think they do imprint anymore. Anyway, it's information-age, A-G-E, .com. So I'm sure you know how to spell information. So information-age.com. And it's just a roundup post, really. 10 innovative AR and VR companies to watch. This is dated 26th of August. I don't think I've actually put this up before. And because it's a useful information, roundup site, then no harm in mentioning it again, so to speak. I often find in the feeds these days, people on Twitter a link to an article, and when you get to the article, you find it's actually quite old. They've tweeted it because they think we're interested in reading it, and in some cases, like this one, maybe we are interested in reading it. Anyway, 10 of the hottest augmented reality and virtual reality providers to be watching. And as I say, 26th of August is only, 3 weeks ago or something, so it's pretty up to date. Right, information-age.com for that one. Moving on, Improbable. Now, Improbable were they were originally a non-profit coming out of Cambridge here in the UK, but then they've in London now, and they're uh, quite big. Their underlying technology is used actually to build many virtual worlds. For example, they have an Spatial IOS, it's called. Now you can't download that or use it yourself, unless you're a developer or whatever. Um, but the underlying system is kind of used as a kind of engine for building virtual worlds and various things. Um, they gave an hour and a half long press briefing, and the Herman Narula, the CEO, said Improbable is no longer a close focused on R&D business. We're an operating company generating profitable businesses in the near future, including multiplayer services, which of course is the virtual worlds connection, really. Working with hundreds of millions of pounds worth of pipeline in our defence and national security mission. They do work on. I'm not very clear whether it's UK. They're in the UK. The defence stuff may well just be UK. It very often is, and it's under the radar. But who knows? If it's nuclear powered submarines, then I guess it's in collaboration with the Americans these days. And the Australians, not forgetting the Australians. Yeah.
That's right.
Australia. Right. Poor old French.
Yeah,
They're not happy.
not happy at all.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, I mean, I'm not actually surprised they lost the contract, because their contract was for diesel-powered submarines, which is not the most eco-friendly. Whatever you think of nuclear power, I mean, the nuclear submarines are reasonably eco-friendly until they blow up and irradiate the planet, but that's another matter entirely. Right. Okay, moving on. So he described Project Morpheus as the collection of solutions to a number of different problems in breaking (metaverse barriers). He had the sense to put metaverse in brackets, didn't he? That's okay. Good on him. Um, Tests included two players with supersized avatars polling masses of smaller sized players about a simple question, and then using a chance to play a game of human tennis, batting crowds of smaller players between. So, yeah, okay, we're not going to go on about this. Violence indeed. Right. I hate reading these. I keep thinking what the world is coming to. Um, in the social feeds, you get articles on regular websites. They're not fake sites or anything like that, saying they're asking questions like, um, you know, who do you most hate on your Instagram? You know, and I see people doing replies to this, people that I maybe know and think, well, they're all pacifists, and well, why, the notion of hate is supposed to be alien to people of a certain way of thinking. So they go online and say, "Oh yeah, I hate that, and I hate that, and I hate that." There's another one of these words that is just, um, been adopted very casually, as opposed to its real meaning. Anyway, moving on down. So, read more about Improbable there at gamesindustry.biz. That's GAMESINDUSTRY.biz. Yes, or Z, as they say in America. Biz. 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 Oh, it's all the buzz at the biz. Site. Yeah, never mind. Carry on. Moving down, remove that. We're back to the Skull Ghost, so why not have a bit of a howl behind the scenes here? Yes, indeed. Right. Now, this, I knew I was going to try and do, but I don't know that I can. This is this came up later in the original announcements earlier in the week. A new platform called Stageverse, and a band called Muse did a concert there, and they're still doing it. It's sort of, the concert can be is repeated at 7 o'clock UK time, I think it is, every night. But the thing that impressed me about this is because when I saw it, I immediately downloaded the iPad version, and it's got to be the best thing I've ever used on the iPad when it comes to virtual worlds. It's pretty intuitive. The avatars look good and stuff. The way they actually bring the real world musicians to you is actually very interesting. They've obviously filmed concerts, proper concerts with big audiences, but they filmed them as panoramas. And they put the avatar audience in the middle of the panorama, so whichever way you're turning, you're looking at the band on stage, the real band and the real audience for that matter. And it really works to make you think you're there. It's just cleverly designed so the panorama, because if you're in salsa or something, you turn your avatar around, you're not looking at the stage anymore. But here, if you turn your avatar, the stage is a different view of the stage is there all the while. Sometimes there's another avatar blocking your view a bit, but that's life, isn't it? I found it very intuitive to use. You simply swipe on the iPad. You swipe on the left-hand side or the right-hand side to be in a different mode. So swiping from the left means that you can move forward and back and stuff like that. Swiping from the left, or is it the right? I forget which, but allows you to do things like turns. So depending on which side of the screen you swipe on, it activates, a different set of tools until you get to about the middle of the screen, where it swaps. And that was confusing at first, but as soon as I realised what it was doing, it was easy enough to remember, and it was just, how should I say, empowering. Anyway, this is a bit small on here, but we'll just have a quickie look at this. So September 21st, that was what, about 6 days ago now it started. But as I say, if you have an iPad, I think it's worth, especially a recent iPad, it's well worth downloading the iOS version of that too. Although it also works in Steam and, I guess your Oculus Quest. And I don't think the Android version is ready, though in the review here he says it is. Yeah, so it's free for limited time. The live concert is at 7 p.m. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and 7 p.m. is considered as a time for 4 different time zones. So actually, every concert is repeated 4 times a day because one is 7 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Britain, and 7 p.m. Japan time. So, yeah, quite a lot going on there, and it's still going on. And it's absolutely free. Well, how long it will remain for free, I don't know. But I mean, they're obviously using a big band and putting them on for free as a way of promoting the platform. And yeah, I mean, I would not be averse to going in again and seeing other bands that way. I don't know why nobody's sort of. I mean, I know in Second Life we've put some media on the prim and turned the inside of the prim into a panorama to, so we sit in the middle of a thing like that. But that it'd be a bit different. It would tend to be a textured image on a prim that made you think you were, on a platform looking out at a panorama of a valley or something like that. But this is really high resolution too. It was it's just well, and also the best bit is where you see the guy. I don't know what his name is, but the guy, the up front guy, singer guitarist, in the front of the stage on the panorama, and then avatars so close to the edge of the panorama that you get that mixed reality thing. The avatar and the performer, and they're both the same size, by the way. So it's not like it's a big screen, and you look at the avatars looking at a giant real world musician. The musician on the video, well, it just works anyway. Nice. Yeah, he complains here that now the avatars were so cool, the avatar he wanted it, but actually the avatar I chose was absolutely perfect imitation of other avatars I've got. Nothing complicated, but reddish hair and I think it's something a bit like this one, though not that one. And a suitable pair of shades, of course. So it's good. Yeah, there you are. That's. All this is part of the panorama, including the panorama in the film, I guess, and the audience. Anyway, this, of course, is Scar Ghost, and the reason I chose to put this up is there's no such thing as a short review from him. So you're going to, if you come here to scarghost.com, you're really going to find he's gone into it in quite a bit of depth there. Not as long as some of his, but yeah. And it's new, so he's saying, "Oh, it'd be nice if they added this and this and this, etc., etc." But it's very high quality materials for the events. The video concert of Muse playing was gorgeous. I'm writing this post with a song playing inside my head, and I think this means something on the potential of the product. Yeah, so there you go. You just look up Stage First on the Apple App Store, and you can download it. Oh, it works on the phone too, although the phone screens are pretty good resolution these days, but the iPad is probably the ideal one. And in fact, I think if you're on the new Mac Silicon, you can download the iOS app into your Mac desktop as a widget, and then just drag the window to a big size, so you see it full screen there. But you lose some of the tactile controls that way. Right, okay, so that is good. Stage First on the App Store, but also on Oculus Quest and all over all over the place. So that was my highlight of the week. I'd almost forgotten about it, so I was going through the news and thought, oh yeah, back on Monday, whenever it was, Yeah, I enjoyed that. I might be able to. I think there's a way I can actually screen capture from the iOS and save the movie across to a map, but I haven't done it yet, I'm afraid. So, moving on. This next site it's 6 reasons why virtuality is a game-changing computing and communication platform for organizations. Well, of course it is. You'll find this post at cacm.acm.org. So it's acom.org, I think. Oh, don't you love letters? Right, you can obviously get all the way into that from my Twitter feed, and actually this was I think this was only yesterday. We're rapidly coming down here. Right, obviously starting off with COVID, predict unprecedented disruptions, blah blah, and needing to go online, and length and lasting effects cannot be reliably estimated. Organisations likely to face mounting challenges in the way they handle remote work, etc., etc. And this is an almost academic article full of citations and things. Look up these numbers at the bottom when you're finished. Good informative article. Whoever reads this, if they don't know already about VR and its potential, they're certainly going to know about it by the time they've finished reading this. And reading this is, as you can see, a mighty, mighty task. And we're down to the references, so there you go. Right, okay, so that is cacm.acm.org. And again, you can click all the way through it from my Twitter feed. Right, now moving further back. We're on Forbes here. And this is near the end of the week, of course. This is Charlie Fink's This Week in XR over at Forbes, talking about Nreal and mixed reality things. Niantic is shutting down AR Catan game. Oh, the other thing, I don't know whether I mentioned this last week, but Room Key, one of the virtual worlds on the web, has actually closed. Or is about to close.
Okay.
I did tweet it, but I didn't know it was not a post. I got the news in an email, so I took a snapshot of the email and tweeted that. It's out there somewhere. Right. Okay. There's some rather strange news from the God Emperor's company this week. The Facebook, whatever that be. Some while ago, they built the sort of virtuality illustration and animation tool. So you can draw in, paint in midair in your Oculus or whatever. But it's Google have shed their VR building tool Tilt Brush, and so apparently Facebook decided, well, they'll shed their Quill app as well. But they have actually handed it back to the developer, allowing them to rebrand the tool. So the Quill Theatre app will be renamed VR Animation Player or something. But anyway, it will still be around. It will just unlike Tilt Brush, which I think Tilt Brush has got a sort of open source community around it. So nothing ever goes away for too long. More about that concept again, and new VR experiences, what he's reading. Yeah, so actually it's quite short for Charlie Fink this week. Anyway, you'll find that easily at Forbes, Forbes.com. They have so many technology articles too that are very interesting. We can't tweet them all, but if you just go to Forbes.com, you'll probably find quite a load. For this particular page, just go via my Twitter or something. Right. Okay, now I'm going to move down here because it's sort of relevant just to post down. This is very interesting. I said how nice of Facebook to give Quill back to the developer. Well, this is something else that's a bit odd. I have one of these Oculus Go's. And apparently, Facebook are going to release an unlocked operating system build for the Oculus Go, so that the people will be able to repurpose the hardware after Oculus stops providing official updates, and you won't need to log into Facebook to use it. Totally unlike, the entrapment procedures Facebook puts on virtually everything else. Interesting. Now, the policy is specific for the Go. That's the Go headset, which is obviously not as powerful. It's a standalone headset, and it was a prototype really for standalone Quest, but it was still pretty good for what it did. And policy is specific to Go for now, but might hopefully set a precedent for future VR hardware down the road, such as the Oculus Quest. Then they go on about the words of this: try using an old video game console like the N64, and so long as its power source is intact, it will still work like it did decades ago. With newer technologies, it's not always clear whether they'll keep functioning whilst the developer stops supporting them. But if it's shut down over-the-air servers, then it limits the use. But there are ways around that. The independent servers that work on the back end with their Goes or whatever. For those of us who don't have the drive to root and ROM hack our devices, this may not mean much, but modders can often use an unlocked Oculus Go for all sorts of cool uses that Facebook never likely envisaged. How to repurpose something that was made by Facebook and is no longer supported by Facebook. Very good. Right, now that post you'll find at androidcentral.com. So it's AndroidCentral.com. And I'll put that away and I'll move back up my list to get us in the right order here. Okay, this is VRScout.com, VRSCOUT.com. And this is talking about Axis, full body motion controller that actually makes motion capture easy. Basically, you don't need the whole motion capture rig to get something really going on this. Now, I think it's all Kickstarter. Let's have a quick look at the video they're giving us. I hustle and motivate. Follow me, I know the way. Grind hard like Yosemite Sam in the Wild West. I just laugh at them when they wear vests, cause it's headshots on sight. I don't do beef, I just lay in the rest. I'm so hungry, my blood's malicious. On my journey, I'm chasing my riches. I got so many reasons that I gotta make it, so I wake up and I go. I move like I'm the mob and I can get nothing new. On the freeway, I got no new.
Axis first started when a group of us were all gamers. We wanted to find a way to allow gamers to use their body as a game controller. What we wanted to be able to do is to get a compatible full body motion tracking system and solution that allows players to be more immersed into the gaming experience and enhance it a lot further.
When we were out in the market looking for something that's readily available, we couldn't find one. So what happened was that, hey, if there's not any system that's available, why not make one yourself?
We've looked everywhere and we've tried many different products. Most of them are not made with gaming in mind.
They are also not targeted towards real-time capture. A lot of users would require the right technical knowledge to set up. They are also clunky in the sense that some of them will require base stations and they take up space, precious space in your room.
And all of these different products, they are all way too expensive. A lot of them have many different sensors. The industry standard is 17. With Axis, we have reduced the number of nodes that you require to 10.
Axis itself works as a standalone, but what's so special about Axis is that it also works complementary to your existing VR setup.
With a compatible VR headset, you can reduce that number of nodes down to 7. Everything is on the body. We do inside-out tracking instead of outside-in tracking.
Our setup is built so that a consumer can take up to 2 to 3 minutes to don it on and undon it really fast. So we take a two-pronged approach with Axis. One is from a developer's perspective, and one is from a consumer perspective. The reason why we approach it that way is because we want to add value to people who have access. We're making sure that the equipment that they use and the software that they use are familiar.
Access is made to be compatible with existing VR systems, applications, and games.
Stuff like OpenVR, Steam VR, and including the future OpenXR platform.
For filmmakers and content creators, I think Access opens up endless creative opportunities and possibilities. Free Striker is what we call a first-person fighting game that we developed on our own to showcase the capabilities of Access.
It can give you a full body experience as you're using your body as a control. Free Striker provides a very fair and safe virtual combat fighting platform.
You don't feel the pain. The adrenaline rush is really cool, I feel.
We can go full force. And
It's a great workout.
yeah, you can just keep going. No one's getting hurt. It's all in good fun.
Inside the game, we're all equal. Your size and your height, your power doesn't matter in here. Gamers are fully immersed into the game.
I'll get you next time.
Game on.
With your support, we want to be able to build the development community and build the consumer and open source market. This means that you guys have more reason to use Access.
My name is Michael.
My name is Eugene.
My name is Ekwan.
I'm Joey Fonda.
At Refract, our vision is to extend the human experience beyond reality. Join us as we change the game.
All right, there you go. So yet another piece of kit to add to your helmets and your gloves and your ankle thingies, and who knows what other strange things are attached to your body for the purposes of VRifying it. So they stripped away everything they could that would hamper the user experience without compromising performance. There's no external base station, complicated technical setups, additional nodes, etc., etc. It looks like a really small box that presumably works best if you strap it onto your head with that headband kind of thing that they were showing there. But well, I have to see. Yeah, so yeah, it's in different modes too. So you've got you know users and creators and stuff separately. Well, there's a lot of information there. Okay, yeah, Refract.gg is the company, but they've also got a Kickstarter page. They're obviously trying to raise more money on this via Kickstarter. They expect to retail at $800 for the standard package, which includes 9 nodes and a hub. Backers can still grab a set on Kickstarter for $500 before the campaign ends. And act very quickly, and you can score an additional $50 off with the early bird special, which will include a free copy of something called Free Striker. So there you go. Isn't that exciting, folks? Sure it is. Yeah. Right. Okay. I guess. I guess you need to have a helmet, really, as at least a helmet to even make use of that. But good looking stuff anyway. So you find that post, by the way, talking about that at vrscout.com, VRSCOUT.com. And right, moving down. This is all right. This is France. Yes, over the water here. France is trialling virtual reality empathy machine on domestic violence offenders. Now, I sent a copy of this link to one of the people I've got on Twitter. I know is vaguely consults with government and stuff here. It seems that every evening when I look at Channel 4 News, which is my preferred TV news here, it's actually the only thing I turn TV on for. Is that day after day we're hearing more and more talk of domestic violence, as well as, some nasty muggings and stuff that are going on. They now happen in daylight. It's not just at night. Some people reckon it's partly to do with COVID and like 18 months of pent-upness, and so the people are now letting loose in ways that wasn't really good, but also incredible reports of domestic violence. I mean, apparently a lot of it is I've been under the radar for years anyway, and in fact, a lot of it is just coming out now. But it's also been growing and stuff. It's that part of it is the modern age, and domestic couples trapped together in a world that is no longer the world they got married into or co-op lived in, and there's no real excuse for it, but there's vague sort of patterns at work there. But anyway, the French actually are now using virtual reality, like a 12-minute session basically, to teach controlling psychological violence and physical violence, and they're doing it with about 30 volunteers, all men at the moment, not surprisingly. And it will run for a year, operated by 3 different prison services. So basically, studies have shown the correlation between low cognitive empathy and violence. And basically, I mean, there've been a couple of novels like this, or one in particular. It may have been Halting State. I forget which was which. Where criminals were put in virtuality with the idea that it would calm them down and whatever like that. But of course, when you're locked in virtuality for several years, you explore virtuality in real time. And so there's a difference between people who've got a very limited scenario they can move around in, which is better than a prison cell, but not a wide open world where they can interact with too many other people. And of course, the opposite is putting them in a virtual world that is endless and becomes their new life, as it were. Anyway, and it has an alert system that gets triggered when offenders get too close to a victim, etc., etc. And some 290 men in France have already been fitted with the active bracelets. This is this is separate from the virtuality campaign, of course. Deeply entrenched problem in France, with 90 women murdered by their spouses or ex-spouses in the last year alone. I don't know what it is for the UK, but it sounds like the sort of thing that our own government here should be looking at, given the things I've been hearing on the news fairly recently. So enough of that. You'll find this link. This is an easy one. rfi.fr. Let me just double check. Is that hang on, I'm just going to get my extra magnifier. I've got a slight problem here. I think it's RFI. Yeah, rfi.fr. Just check it wasn't RFL for a second. Okay, putting that one away, and reaching the end here. Okay, this photo was used, of course, yesterday on Scar Ghosts. Early in the week at the Scar Ghosts thing. I just came across this again, and I couldn't resist doing a tweet saying, "You got to be kidding." Now, you all know what I think about helmets. Do you really want to sleep in one? Tossing and turning in bed, wake up with your neck broken, maybe not wake up at all. Yeah. Yes, at least I get a snigger out of James there.
If you wake up with your neck broken, you weren't doing it right.
Yeah, well, you won't remember anyway, will you?
Right.
Yeah, it just, I like the look of that nice soft pillow. Put my head in that and curl it around my head, but the wires, the bit at the bottom, the helmet, and God, I've even got my Apple Watch on by the look of it. Feeding Bluetooth signals into my wrist. No wonder you wake up with an aching hand. Yeah. Right.
Well, anyway. I do have a brother who has terrible sleep disorders, and so the amount of equipment that he uses to sleep is really it's not that different than the headset that he's wearing. And people have the CPAP machines, if you're familiar with those.
Oh, they're the pillows with built-in speakers.
No. CPAP is the assisted breathing, because people who have sleep apnea, and they'll lose there'll be oxygen deprived while they sleep, so they have these machines that breathe for them, and they sound like kind of Darth Vader mask, breathing all night long. But
Oh, God, yeah.
that's and they sleep very comfortably with those things.
Yeah, I sometimes wake up these days with hard to breathe, but
Yeah. Well, I'm not
it's
advocating it for you, but I'm
yeah,
just saying, if you've got a sleep disorder, um,
yeah,
you know.
I see what you mean. Because I'm one of those people that does anybody have to? I have music on all night and all day. I sleep with music playing. I used to fall asleep with headphones on, actually, but or well, actually, when I was really young, they were probably quite bulky headphones, but they're like in-ear headphones. But I don't like that. I don't like the idea that even the little flimsy wire is connected to me while I'm asleep. It's not. It's not. I love the idea of being taught a language overnight when I'm sleeping and things like that. But just the idea of a wire or some contraption on me that will affect my ability to roll over and toss and turn and do all the stuff we do. I don't like it. I want to be sort of unencumbered and free when I fall asleep. And music coming out of the speakers is fine, because the right kind of music, I just drift away to it, and that's that. But I never turn it off. If I wake up in the night and there's a bad cut and the sound's gone off, I have fits. I think that my world has just disappeared. It's like it's like crashing from a virtual world when you're busy doing something. You wake up and there's no audio. What the hell's going on? But usually it's a matter of rebooting a hub or switching the radio on again. Anyway, yeah. But I just tweeted that you got to be kidding. But I'm also quite sure that some people will look at that and think, "Yay, new way to go to sleep," and be happy with it. So that post is at techradar.com, techradar.com, and I'm going to put that one away too. Oh yeah, Diver X is the company behind this kit. DIVER -X. They're a Japanese startup, and well, enough said. Maybe that's the CEO who, needless to say, has not got a thing on his head. Oh no, that's their features editor. No, it's a blown up GIF, I think. Right, okay, putting it away. He says. Right, final text post here. It's from highfidelity.com, which of course is Philip Rosedale's audio site. They actually publish about 2 or 3 times a week. Very odd. These posts are actually written by Emily, I think, and they're not all overtly promoting High Fidelity's audio, although it is mentioned somewhere near the end here. They're just writing reviews of good audio systems or good virtual concerts or whatever, and a bit of backstory too, like referring to Duran Duran, who were in Second Life. They're in there for a long while. It wasn't. I think they arrived in 2006 and they've been there for a good few years. In fact, I think their build may still be in world. Grand Theft Auto had a virtual concert performance from Phil Collins. I never knew that. Then look at the more recent ones, TikTok and The Weekends. They used to appear in Second Life. They're now appearing on TikTok, and with 2 million unique viewers, I think there's slight improvements on what they got in Second Life, actually.
Yeah.
But they had to start somewhere, didn't they? Okay, research shows that virtual concerts influence social connection and Karma Muta. Kama Sutra, no. Karma Muta stands for being moved. Kama Sutra stands for something else, as you probably know. Right, Dana Schwarbrick research. They found live virtual concerts facilitated more social connection and suggests that audio quality is important for musical enjoyment. Right. The High Fidelity plug, but except they don't. And they make they found that live virtual concerts, as compared to pre-recorded ones, actually are the ones that facilitated the social connection. Links to the research. And yeah, okay, this was winners Ariana Grande in Fortnite, Billie Eilish in Spatial Web and Secret Sky. I think that it must have been a standalone platform for a festival called Secret Sky. They don't say it was in. Yeah, it's not cited as being in any particular world, greater world, so to speak. And yeah, and a bonus virtual component that entered the game as well, social audio. Check out Clubhouse's recent tweets, etc. And then they rounded off with so, and by the way, Clubhouse now use our thingy.
Yes.
I must say this. This is a bit I was reading through. The result, your long used. Basically, high fidelity is social spatializer, which is what you download to plug into your grid or whatever. It's a real head-related transfer function, maps speech to different virtual locations by subtly adding a time delay between stereo channels and replicating the way that high and low frequencies would sound entering the ear depending on their sound's origin. The result, long used in social VR, gives social experiences a sense of physical presence that good records have been pulling off for ages. Think listening to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon in stereo with good headphones, but instead of sound effects and instruments playing around your head, you're hearing the people you're hanging out with arrayed in virtual space. But that sentence seemed to be a bit odd to me. I mean, one day, I think when they, no offense to Philip or whatever, but I mean, I think when they are promoting this audio system, it is great for virtual worlds. It is great for things like Clubhouse. But when you compare it to listening to Pink Floyd's in stereo with good headphones, I would listen to Pink Floyd, which I do quite a lot, but I listen in Dolby 7.5 surround sound, right? And that actually does capture what it's meant to capture, the sound from all sides. You sometimes get remixes of tracks where the balance has been changed to give you, if you listen in mono, it sounds the same, but if you listen in stereo or surround sound, you can notice subtle differences in the remastering. I don't think it can compete on that level, so I don't know where they were wise to cite listening to Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon as an example there. But I mean, because in good headphones, all you get is a left and a right signal. So, obviously, the spatial sound can enhance that, but whether the spatial sound can enhance to the same degree that Dolby's surround sound, or indeed Lucasfilm surround sound, or Adobe have Atmosphere or something now. Those are designed for hi-fi surround sound, and that's a different kettle of fish. The way high fidelity social spatializer is very, very clever indeed, but I really think it's it's got to be somewhere where you're putting yourself in the center and panning outwards from the center, so to speak, and maybe actively moving and stuff, which you don't tend to do when you're listening in surround sound. You sort of optimize it for speaker levels and everything else like that, and then you sit down and stay put. Even if it is a rock and roll number. But it's usually Pink Floyd, so you stay put. Anyway, I'm blabbering on. Probably people out there don't know what I'm talking about. What's a Pink Floyd when it's at home? Where have you been?
Who the heck is Pink Floyd?
I don't know. Is
that name's the person Pink?
No. I think it's a cousin of Purple Floyd.
It's Purple Floyd's cousin. That makes sense.
Yeah, some relation to Purple Floyd, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, one of my favorites is "Wish You Were Here," and I love how they play with the name in the lyrics.
Yeah.
By the way, which one's pink? It gets a laugh.
Oh, that bloody pig.
Yeah.
The funniest thing is reading the stories about filming that. Just done a photograph of the cover a complete disaster. The damage that was done there. Pig got loose, and pig got loose, and they had to shut down air traffic control while they
Oh my. Okay.
catch the pig, and then they tried it again, and something else went wrong, and yeah, that bloody pig. And I don't like pigs are ugly anyway, aren't they? Anyway, find that little review at highfidelity.com, highfidelity.com, and that is it for the text department. So these actually get posted on my Twitter feed too, but I'm now loading my Mastodon feed, which is mastodon.social/@Metaworld. And yeah, these are basically new videos that I posted up here. They're not machinima or stuff like that I post to Malbone's Writers Channel and Second Lives and stuff. Just that stuff. This one is basically RecCon is a Rec Room, and they have a 3-day convention, as it were. It actually started today. I don't know why. I thought it started on Friday. It's a bit odd to have a conference that starts on a Sunday and goes to Tuesday, but there you go. Anyway, Gribbly, whoever Gribbly be, delivered the keynote. I guess he's boss at RecCon or something like that. I think it's a bit long. Yeah, I'm not going to go through 16 minutes.
The Rec Room community has grown 5x. So there's 5 times as many people playing in Rec Room at any given moment as there was at the time of last RecCon, which is great. Means the community, means we're spreading the love. And so we just want to welcome and send love.
And that's what CEOs do for their keynote, isn't it? Right. Send my love to you. That's a Beatles song, isn't it? I'm away.
Yeah.
Send all my loving to you. Well, RecCon is sending all their loving to you if you want to watch that. Right. But there are also a number of other videos come up, which I will produce in the week. They're already online, but I didn't have time to really go through them to see if they're any good, really. Today, they're ones that started coming up today. So, in fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just quickly click through here. If you don't come via my links, you can always go here.
It's RecCon. The Rec Room.
And it's easy. Rec Room. REC space ROOM. It's a subscriber you want at YouTube to follow those, or look up what they've got, as it were. Right, let's get ourselves back. Right, Between Realities, up to episode 5. It feels like they've only just come back. This is a good little show. It's described as a VR podcast because they do look at the world of VR. In fact, there's a hashtag on this one for philosophical gamers. In reality, they do tend to be swing a bit more towards games now than they did in the original series, but still an interesting webcast to listen to. I forget how long it is this week. Yeah, it's 90 minutes, so it's not a light listen, but it's one of it's probably like this show and things. I mean, we do have visual components, but often you can get quite a lot out of it just by having it playing in a tab in the background and treating it as audio, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And moving down, yeah, we have a video here which is about Immerse and the Venice film thing.
There's octopus arms.
This is actually about 3.5 minutes. That's not really good.
So tonight we have a special World Talk that is a celebration of the Immerse Publications 5th anniversary. I'm going to call onto the stage Pat and Ingrid and Sarah and Jessica.
Immerse is a medium publication dedicated to non-fiction, immersive, and interactive works.
We have been evolving it ever since. We hope some of you have been reading us at immerse.news.
And it's really lovely to actually be able to do this with a bunch of really kind, lovely people who are, welcoming us into the space.
We're going to do loads of things today. By the end of the World Talk, you're going to be experts.
Oh, giraffe.
This octopus arms, it's amazing. This is amazing.
So cool.
Well, you get the idea, so I'll let you watch that for yourself. You can travel it. It's on the Immerse News, which we feature sometimes on our website. It's on YouTube. It's all over the place, really. And I must say, it's rather something that endeared it to me is the fact that almost every voice so far on that has been English. I didn't actually know, but I presume from that, if that's the staff talking, I presume Immersed is actually published in the UK, although being as it's an online site, then it probably doesn't matter where in the world it's published, does it? No, of course it doesn't. But I like the English voices; it feels more at home, doesn't it? Now, talking of audio, etc., this it's worth telling you. This week in XR, this is the video version of Charlie Fink's weekly. It's the XR podcast. This one, as opposed to the thing he does at written thing he does at Forbes. It is worth mentioning, however, that well, let's click through here while we're at it. That there's an audio version of this too. So I've actually discovered that the audio version usually gets to me a day earlier than this because I get it through Spotify. But it's available on lots of different platforms, and basically it's the same. Exactly the same audio that you get on video here, though actually you don't really get much here except different faces, you know. I mean, if you want to know what the guest Mike Pell looks like, you need to watch the video, but if you just want to hear him, I'll just have a quick...
Good morning, everybody. I'm Charlie Fink. It's September 4th, 2021. I'm here with my co-host, Ted Shilowitz. It's This Week in X. Good morning, Ted.
Good morning, Charlie. An interesting, vibrant week. Still in our home abodes, but, you know, curving out and lots of...
Oh, sorry.
And detailed. So when you're sitting right on...
We have a great guest this morning, our friend Mike Pell from the Microsoft Garage.
Yes, he's an interesting gentleman that has lots of interesting insights and has a very cool job.
Okay, it's not actually, believe it or not, it's not actually letting me scroll forward there, but as it says, it's in the Microsoft Garage, whatever that is. I think if I play it here, yeah, if I play it on my own site, we can actually scroll forward. There he is.
Ted, have you been back in the office yet?
Only for, you know, there are certain things from a studio production perspective that I've had to sort of look in on and meet and go to various stages for things. But so far we're still...
Okay, well, I'm not good. I'll be here all night if I do that. And we're making quite a good timing on this show today, so...
Yeah.
Don't need an excuse to play that. Right, 3 days... Oh, right, this is this week too. Okay, this is Unity Software CEO talking about how the software enables 3D in industries beyond video games.
Take data off of cameras and give it to consumers in a way that allows them to interact in that environment. And our platform does really two things. We create those real-time 3D environments so you can consume them, but inside of our SaaS platform are tools around analytics, monetization, voice, back-end cloud service that supports the operation of those.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow at...
So it's an American show. You can't get a word in edgeways before another ad comes on. That's actually only 2 minutes 48 seconds, so it's quite a quick clip if you want to listen to it. I'm also going to get kind of hiss in the background from it. I don't know whether it's from the video or not. But moving down,
I'm hearing a hiss. I don't know what that's from, but
right now. James, you have presumably seen it, is back this week.
I've not. I had too busy a week, so I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, right. Well, you actually aren't missing much because they talk about one thing and one thing only for the whole damn thing, and that's the Ray-Ban stories.
Oh, okay.
Future AR glasses. And I don't think I mentioned last week that I said no, in a million years these are not smart glasses. They're a pair of glasses or sunglasses, depending on what you want. You can put prescription lens in it. They've got a little camera in it, so you can take a photograph or film video. And they've got headphones, so you can listen to music. But this is simply stuff that already exists elsewhere, put into one product. I mean, there's plenty of headphones around. There's plenty of snap cams around. Things that take pictures, and this is not even augmented reality. There's no overlay or anything in it, and there's nothing smart about the damn things at all. I'm actually surprised that this program actually thought it was worth talking for an hour and 17 minutes about them. And sort of implying that they are the future and whatever. When in fact, this is, my opinion, I suppose, but there we go. This is normally a very good program, but believe me, you don't want an hour and a quarter talking about Ray-Ban glasses. I must say they are everywhere. I was out during the week on the high street here, just around the corner, and one of the shops on the road is like a fashion outlet, for sunglasses and things, and they're already stocking them. They've got windows displays and everything for them, so market saturation is evident. But what do you expect from the God Emperor's concerns, but yeah, sorry, I pretty much, I stopped about halfway through this. I thought, I can't listen to any more of this, and I sort of brought it back to the front and scrolled forward just to see if I was missing anything by stopping, and I wasn't. So so we don't really need it this week, but if you are interested in the Ray-Ban Stories glasses, then it is interesting. The shop, the fashion shop where they were doing the sunglasses, the window display did not feature the word Facebook anywhere. By the way, it's all Ray-Ban and Ray-Ban Stories, the name for this product. But nevertheless, we know what we know, don't we? Right, I think this is another copy of the Stage First video that we saw on the site earlier, and and then we're back to the week before. Right, so that is it for this week, folks. Yes, indeed.
Goodness me.
We have. Now, how long did we take this week, I wonder?
1 hour and 17 minutes. Right now.
Not bad. So we're well under 90 minutes. That's the way it should be, really. And we've got a fair bit in, actually. Okay, so my monitor's gone to sleep over in Sansa. Right, any thoughts there, James?
No, not really. I'm surprised by that coverage of the Ray-Ban, so I'll have to go take a look at it and see what they might have possibly thought, what insight they had. Their engineer, David Heaney, I think is his name, for the program, is quite technically astute, and so I would be curious to see what he has to say. If there's anything hiding in those glasses. But they are the form factor that Mal Burns would endorse.
If they were smart.
That's right.
I mean, they don't do anything. I haven't got a piece of kit that does it anyway.
Right.
If they had a smart overlay, an AR overlay, so I could see an advert for a shop as I passed it or whatever, or as a waiters, then I would probably go for it. But yeah, the form factor's right, but that's all that's right. And needless to say, the UK government here is already threatening to take Facebook to court over them, for the simple reason that the little light that shows when people are recording video is so damn small nobody can see it.
Okay.
And according to the British government, and probably the EU too, oddly enough, this is a privacy offence under privacy legislation.
Sure. Right.
We kind of, it's the sort of thing Facebook do not absolutely care about at all until they're caught out, and even by then they're normally too big to do anything about it. Oh yes, well we would change that, but we've already shipped 7 billion. Yeah, so no containing that lot. Okay, well, I think we can wrap the show up wherever we are here now. Yep, I know what I will do. I will close the browser, so we've got a pretty little picture of an Apple desktop to go out with.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I thought you had a gorilla up there for some time. Was that?
No, the gorilla. I put the gorilla away.
Okay.
Did we? Oh, no, there's a picture. Right, this is a quote from the science fiction author and technologist, actually, Cory Doctorow.
Oh, yeah.
Facebook is a rotten company, rotten from the top down. Its founder, board, and top executives are sociopaths and monsters, committers of non-hyperbolic, non-falling crimes against humanity. They lie, they cheat, they steal. They are some of history's greatest villains.
Did you read his book, Little Brother?
Not that one. No,
Okay,
I've read I've got a couple of his sci-fi things on my Kindle. And
Okay, right.
But this is straight to the point.
Yep, indeed.
How many characters Twitter allow? Yeah, so good little quote there. That's in the picture department. Where I was. You don't need the gorilla. It's just a. I had a video of a gorilla, a nice, lovely gorilla face close up. You see a banana and sort of a. I don't know. I thought it might be. I could pretend it was an avatar, and I was.
Right.
I was wearing it, but I would have to load it into my video player, which means finding it again. So forget that one. Anyway, there we go. This is just part of Apple's desktop or something. I like these sometimes because the light and dark mode thing on Apple, that photograph is a still photograph, but it changes according to the time of day.
Right.
And it's now got fully dark.
It's very dark.
on British time, at least, since I started the show. A couple of hours ago, it was still daylight on that rock, or whatever it is. Anyway, right. So, I think we can say goodbye, can't we?
I suspect so.
Yeah. There's anything else to segue us out? I don't know. All very good. All very good. We'll see you all same time, same place next week. So meanwhile, it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from him.
We too. Yes. VR, XR, AR, MR, whatever you are up to. We are. Yay. Right. Okay. Well, have a good week, everybody. Hope we've provided a bit of interest with the news headlines. Whoop. And keep safe, everybody. Stay indoors if you can. If you have to, whatever. Beware of the plague, which is still here, even though a few politicians think we've forgotten now. And remember we're changing seasons too. So things, if they're going to get worse, will with the colder weather. It's more conducive to viruses spreading. Also, it doesn't evaporate from surfaces so quickly. There's a whole load of things where the colder weather in the winter will have kind of effects. So stay safe. Make sure you're looking out for yourself. And don't forget, it may be a depressing time, but you've always got the ability to go online and jump into virtual worlds and use those to pursue the things you used to do in that heavily polluted place called Earth. And you can always get a inhaler or something to wear on your face while you're sleeping, and never mind. Goodbye, everybody, and as I say, we'll see you next week. Bye for now.